In this household, we enjoy a variety of meals. We love taking one package of ground meat and stretching it out into multiple meals with different flavors. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, two of the meals are going to be very similar to each other, but we're going to be changing them up drastically by using different condiments, different grains. There's so many varieties of food that you can prepare with just one package of ground meat. I'm going to start with one package of fresh ground turkey. This is 19.2 ounces. We're going to divide this in thirds. I'm going to cook 2/3 of it together in a pan, and 1/3 of it I'm going to remove to make a meatball mix. This amount is for the meatball mix. And in this pan we have meat for 2 meals I'm going to create. So we're cooking a total of 3 meals altogether. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for now, and we'll work with this after we cook the first 2 meals. Turn on the burner here and start cooking this hamburger up. I'm going to add salt and pepper and chopped onion and celery. Cook a little olive oil and add the minced garlic. And I'm just going to cook this for like 30 seconds. Then we portion out the other half of the meat into another pan and preheat the oven for the stuffed pepper meal. Now we're cooking our first meal, ground turkey goulash. Add tomato sauce, Worcestershire sauce, seasoning, and water to the meat mix. When the sauce begins to boil, you add the macaroni and simmer at a soft boil, adding water as needed. And the goulash is done. I added chopped onion for garnish. We have a salad with chopped red bell pepper and onion that we can share. There's plenty of food here for 2 people. Now we are working on the second meal, which is stuffed peppers. We put the peppers in the oven to cook at 375 Fahrenheit for 10 minutes. And this will speed up the cooking process because the peppers take a while to cook. Now we are making the meat filling for the stuffed peppers. To the ground turkey, and I added quinoa and some diced tomatoes. And I'm going to add water. And I'm going to cook this until the quinoa is done. So we're mixing everything together here, and the water is boiling already. Cover with a lid. Cook for about 10 minutes. The quinoa and ground turkey are very well cooked here. And you can season according to taste. I did add a little cumin, garlic powder, salt, and pepper. Mix that together. And if that tastes good, then you can start stuffing your peppers. Now we're going to stuff the peppers with this meat and quinoa mixture. It made the meat go a long way. And it tastes just like meat. It doesn't taste like, the quinoa does not have any flavor whatsoever. It's a filler. So what it is a filler. So we're going to fill these up and add cheese to the top. And we'll put these stuffed peppers in the oven. I would say 20 minutes. I think the recipe said 30 minutes, but I don't think we need to go quite that long. And the temperature is at 375 Fahrenheit. That's been preheated for quite a while. And we'll check it after 20 minutes. The peppers are done, and I just garnished the plate with the extra lettuce that I had. I see this at Chinese restaurants a lot. With Frugal, they'll put it over a bed of lettuce. And I always eat the lettuce along with the meal. But we are cooking up some mashed potatoes for one of the 2 side dishes. Just add some butter and milk to the cooked potatoes. Salt, pepper. I don't add too much salt because I've already added salt when I cook the potatoes in the water. And then just start mashing away. And I put some butter on the mashed potatoes. The corn is plain. He likes to season his corn. I do not cook it ahead of time. I do not like to overcook food. On the potatoes, we're going to add a little dried parsley. Now we're going to make the meatballs and gravy. We're going to put it over a bed of jasmine rice and have some peas to the side. I think I'm going to doctor up the peas a little bit and give them extra flavor. Now, since this is a third of a meatball recipe, we don't need to use a whole egg, of course. So we're going to use chia seeds to make a third of an egg, and I'll show you how to do that. That's what we're going to do to start with, because it takes time for the chia to create the consistency of an egg. To create a third of a chia egg, you just take a teaspoon of chia seeds and mix it with a tablespoon of water. Give it a stir, and you let this rest for at least 5 minutes. All right, 5 minutes goes by very quickly, but I was able to gather some ingredients together here, like Worcestershire and cracker crumbs. I crushed just 2 cracker crumbs that's going to go in this recipe, and a little bit of milk, and our seasonings, a small amount of seasonings, including the salt and pepper and the Italian seasonings into this little ramekin here. I'll add the chia egg to the ground turkey mix, along with the milk, just a little bit of Worcestershire, some seasoning, some cracker crumbs, and mix all that together. It's that easy. We really got to mix it together well because of the chia seeds, but they will hold everything together. I've used chia egg in the past for baking and for meat entree recipes, and it works out fine. You just have to make sure you mix it very well, and so the chia seeds are all spread throughout the meat mixture. I'm not going to use onion in the meatballs because we're going to use onion in the gravy that goes over the meatballs. That's it. These are going to hold together very well. With clean hands, I'm just going to create some small meatballs here, as many as I can. And they're real easy to come together very nicely, as you can see. 12 meatballs. Wow. And we have a little bit of olive oil. We're going to heat this up, and then we're going to fry the meatballs. We'll turn them over in just a little bit and brown them on the other side, just for a few minutes. They don't have to be cooked all the way through because they're going back into the pan when we create our gravy. We're going to cook it some more when we prepare the gravy.
So I gathered the strength to lift it, and you picked it up and laid it down, and you picked me up and I am found. Oh.
And I did roll them over on the side that kind of like the sides that are still red. But we're just about done with these meatballs. Right now we're going to turn off the burner and put the meatballs onto a plate. Now I'm just going to chop up some onion to create the gravy. It will really flavor the gravy. We like extra onion. But if you have Vandella onions, the recipe I'm going to refer to you calls for Vandella onions, which I don't have. I'm just using regular yellow onion. Turn the burner back on. We're going to heat up the grease from the meatballs and add our onions. It smells so good. Yum. We're going to add some flour. I'm just doing about a tablespoon and a half. We have broth. We're going to slowly pour in. And we'll create our gravy. And some water. And a little Worcestershire. Just a couple sprinkles. And this will thicken as we whisk. And we'll create our gravy. Then return the meatballs to the pan. Because the meatballs have soaked up most of the gravy, we're going to add water to thin the gravy out, so it will go further. All 3 of these recipes that I prepared today needed water to stretch out the gravy or the sauce. That's important because water is the cheapest element you're going to use. And it's a good way to stretch your budget, if you think about it, because you can make the food go further if you have more sauce. We are adding butter to make this a creamier gravy. Actually, the recipe did call for it, and I forgot to add it, so I'm adding it now. This is looking good. Do a taste test. and see if it needs anything. Salt and pepper, that's it. I'm just gonna do pepper. That's fantastic. This is my first time making this recipe. It turned out very well. And next time I'll include the butter because it adds a richness that you want for this gravy. I'm crisping up some onion and ham. I'm just going to doctor up the peas, the canned peas that we had left over in the refrigerator. I want the ham to be crispy, almost like bacon. I drained most of the water out. We'll saute the peas along with the ham and onion. And here's the dish that I made for my husband. He likes his rice separate from his meat entree. I did put some, he likes red pepper on his rice, and that is a beautiful garnish. This dish did not make as much gravy as I thought. The meatballs kind of soaked in the gravy, but it is really very tasty. Here's the way I would present this dish family style. And I did add some red pepper flakes. It just seemed to go very well with the meatballs and the rice. Today we really stretched out the budget. We made one package of ground turkey go a long way and added some delicious side dishes and vegetables and condiments to the meals. And my husband's going to love this food. And we've got meals to last for a couple days. I hope that I've inspired you to cook in this way, to stretch out the budget. Adding the water to the gravy and the sauce makes it go further. And that flavor just carries over and you just can't beat it. God bless each and every one of you. I'll see you in the next one.